Hello. Welcome to the Make It While You Fake It podcast. A podcast about running a custom furniture and woodworking business while also trying to start a community makerspace outside of Philly. All without having any formal education in woodworking or in business. I'm Dan Skirma from Woe Shop Woodworking and Monco Makers, and I'm glad that you're here with us.
Have you started recording?
You always need 3 drinks.
Beverage goblin.
You are a beverage goblin.
I feel like most women are. I'm not alone in this. It's a known thing. You started recording.
Of course I did.
Of course you did. Okay.
I can't tell you I'm going to start recording.
1 to hydrate, 1 to energize, and 1 just for fun.
1 just for fun. But they're always in very different sizes. The fun one is always the fun glass.
The fun glass. It doesn't matter what's inside.
And then your giant,
Wait, comfort cup?
Your specialty water cup of the month.
No, I've had the Stanley for a long time.
Until some other brand comes out with a new one.
Until then, it will be this Stanley.
Nice. But welcome back to the Make It While You Fake It podcast. Episode, it might be episode 13.
Really?
I think so.
Wow.
13 weeks in a row I've been doing this.
Is it a full moon?
It is a full moon.
And if this is the 13th podcast, that means it's
weird.
Lucky or
weird. I don't actually know if it's a 13th, but
I don't think it is.
It's either the 12th. No, I think it might be the 13th. We'll check on that. You'd think I know, but I don't know because I saw a squirrel and then I got distracted. But first and foremost, we're thanking our Patreon supporter, single one. He's lonely. He needs a friend. But we're going to be sending out some fun stuff to Patreons. We added some levels on some lower tiers. We got some T-shirts in. We got stickers in.
T-shirts.
We do have T-shirts.
I saw them. They're nice.
They are pretty nice. I've been wearing them. But our Patreon, Keith over at Blackthorn Concepts.
Thank you, Keith.
Keith, you rock. Go support Keith and his podcast with Tony from Canada. Tony Woodford.
Tony.
Yeah, Tony's awesome too. They're over at the Working Hands. I always confuse ours. Working Hands podcast.
Edit that later.
I don't edit anything. Because I'm a professional. I just do it live.
Make it while you fake it.
See? Make it while it's good that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been going well so far. I finished an epoxy table this week and got it delivered. I learned another lesson like I do for most projects. Most projects, you got to learn something, right? And I'm always learning. And the thing I learned this project was if you have a referral of one of your friends who are local, that doesn't mean that friend is local. And you should probably ask where they live before you say that delivery is free. I did not know that this client was 2 hours away, roughly. And I didn't even think about it. And I said, yeah, delivery is definitely included. And so the table was completed. I'm like, hey, I can probably drop it off tomorrow if you're around. She's like, yeah, I'm around. What's your address? Oh, that's a 4-hour round trip.
Oopsies.
Whoops. After I had just gotten back from a work trip up to Boston and drove 5 hours one way and 7 hours on the way back.
A lot of driving.
I did not want to be in the car, but I said I would deliver it, and you just kind of have to eat that. So lesson learned, whatever. It was good. And I was really happy. Honestly, I would much rather deliver it, even if it's a drive, because I get to do a little bit of a reveal. You bring it in, you pull the thing off and you wipe it down. And they're very, very happy. Awesome client. Reposted it on Instagram. She gave me a 5-star review on Google. I can't ask for more than that. Honestly, that's really great.
And the table itself turned out amazing.
The table turned out really good. And it was good. So that's the thing. I talked about it a little bit on the last podcast. I hesitate to show pictures before something's done for fear of people changing their mind. I just am uncomfortable with the conversation of having to charge more because a client changed things. I know that that's reality, but I'd rather avoid it. But I've gotten to the point where if it's if I know that they're going to like it, I'll send them some update pictures and some progress pictures. I'm glad I did in this case because I sent the client the final picture, what I thought was the final picture. She's like, you know what? Can you just make the base a little darker? And so I needed to stain it darker. And I wasn't expecting to do that. So again, that was a little bit of a challenge just because the species of wood, not staining it too dark, but just dark enough to match the maple that was in the table. But it worked out, and she was very happy when it got to her. That would have been a much worse case scenario if I had driven it 4 hours round trip and then she really didn't like the color of the base, and I would have had to do it a second time.
And I don't know about like most clients or how I would be in that situation, but if I am surprised by an end product, I don't know if I would say something right then and there because I wouldn't want to hurt your feelings.
That's even worse. I've had that happen. Mm-hmm. I've had that happen. I have one callback right now from a bench that I did 2 years ago. And the bench got the one where I did a table and a bench and a Sapili table and bench and a countertop and a couple shelves. Like, it was a really big project. Mm-hmm. It was a great table, great bench. Loved how it turned out. But over the last 2 years of a lot of people sitting on the bench is racking a little bit. And I already know how to fix it, but I have to go pick it up, bring it to the shop, fix it, bring it back. So it's not a big deal. He is local. Do you
offer like a lifetime guarantee with this?
No.
Or would you do like a warranty?
So I have never put anything in. I haven't gotten bitten by it, so I haven't learned that lesson yet. I've started to now. Mm-hmm. Now I have put a year of wear and tear, and then after that, it's kind of just, it's still then just an hourly rate to fix something. Mm-hmm. If it's been over a year.
Also, if it's like something that is a fault, which I'm not saying that there ever would be,
sure, in
an end product, but the wear and tear is a big thing. Like a lot of,
especially on benches and things that just
every single day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why when tables go out, I generally get on top of them and I kind of sit on them and stand on them.
Actually get on top of them.
Physically get on top of them.
Jump on them.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially if I know that the client has kids, because kids climb on tables constantly.
How you do your best clogging.
Then again, I weigh about as much as probably 8 kids, but still for my own sense of comfort, I'd rather know that it is very stable and built well. But either way, that is out the shop. Getting ready to do a couple other projects. I am doing there's another first coming up for me. Something that I know how to do. Mm-hmm. I've seen a million videos on how to do it. I've seen how to do it with my CNC specifically to my software.
You know how to do it, or you've done it?
I know how to do it. I have not done it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's one of those. The answer is yes, still it's no. Mm-hmm. Ergo, make it while you fake it. So the answer is yes. So of course I can do that. Of course I can do V-carve inlays into 4 tables and 4 cutting boards. Of course I can.
Yes. Yeah. Fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Do you know what that is?
I know how to do that too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you know what that
University.
is? Mm-hmm. There it is. So all it is, think of a V-bit.
Mm-hmm. Looks like a V.
Looks like a V. You carve whatever the logo is. In this case, it's a corporate logo. You carve that into the wood, and then the wood that's being inlaid into it, you carve a negative. Mm-hmm. And then you glue them together.
What kind of glue? Wood glue?
No, not wood glue.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Name one other glue.
Elmer's glue.
That's also wood glue. People use Elmer's glue and some stuff. Really? Maybe not the kids stuff, but Elmer still makes normal glue that people use. White glue.
Yeah. Huh. Glue stick.
Not
purple glue.
No.
Rubber cement.
No more glues. You're reaching. But no, you just clamp them together and then you essentially run it through the planer, and it takes away all that bulk of the back of the negative that's glued on, mm-hmm. and then you're back to a flat surface, and what's left is all the wood that filled in the carving.
Cool.
So there's no gaps.
How complicated is the logo?
It's very simple.
Okay.
It's simple to do. The challenge, it's not even really a challenge. It's just a process thing that I have to essentially screw some guides into my CNC so that when I'm doing 4 of them, they all line up exactly. Mm. So I'm doing one at a time. So I need to make sure that they're in the exact same spot. So that's mostly a process thing where I would just take over the CNC. If anyone was doing projects, I would just need a window of probably 3 days to do just these. So those will be cool because those are 4 tables and 4 big like butcher block cutting boards for a restaurant down at the shore, which is pretty cool.
And the visibility of something like that is awesome. Like if you go to, is it First Watch or?
Yeah, well, right. First Watch is a good example.
They have you actually like their tables.
I like their tables, and I like that. I took a picture of it.
It's weird that we
nerd.
know the tables in restaurants.
They have nice white oak tables there.
Yep.
They have white oak tables there, and the maker of those put like a First Watch little medallion like inlaid into the table, and actually it looks sharp. I like it.
Sharp.
I'm old. I say words like sharp. Whatever.
Neato.
But I have those tables to do and those cutting boards, and then I have a fun coffee breakdown coffee cart to make, which is cool.
Ooh.
So it just snaps together the 4 walls, a couple shelves in there, and then it has casters on the base.
Can I have one?
Where are you going to put that?
My eventual coffee bar.
We need a bigger house for that because we have no room. But
so those are upcoming projects.
Those are upcoming projects.
And this is the 13th episode of your podcast, maybe.
We'll go with that.
We're not quite sure. But the topic...
Yeah, it's not really even a topic. It's mostly just...
ask me anything.
Q&A, a little AMA.
Ask you anything?
Yeah. We have a little AMA going because we've reached this point where I've talked to enough people and people have had questions because they realize... Hey, you're talking about it a lot. So where are you? Are you open? And we are not yet. And you know what? We're in luck. It's not the 13th of the full moon. It's episode 14. So we're good. Yeah. Yay. In the clear. This is going to go very smoothly. So we do have a couple of questions. People responded to a poll up on Instagram, a couple of local Facebook groups. So the first question and most important.
Do you want me to read it to you or do you want to read it?
I'll read this one.
Okay.
This one's very important.
Okay.
From Joe from work over on Instagram replied, how does Melanie stay so sexy? With four question marks.
Oh.
She's really curious.
Well, you've got to answer that because that's you anything.
With every kid, it just gets
better and better,
gets better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the answer for that.
Working with what my mama gave me.
Say hi to Mom because she's probably listening again.
Hi, Mom. Thanks.
Fantastic. Second question is actually pretty hard to answer because I'm just reading these now. So this one is pretty difficult, honestly. So David Bauer, who I was also on his podcast.
Thanks, David.
So David Bauer asked, what will your first class be? Dream big. So it's hard to answer. So the first thing because I'm starting this up and because I'm going to be having instructors like Jake and Mike and others from around the area that have years and years of experience more than me. They've done very complicated things. Some of Mike's works are incredible when he shows me pictures of stuff he's done in the past.
Stuff for like the Queen.
He has stuff in Buckingham Palace. Yes. Pretty crazy. But because they have that much experience, I'm always learning. I'm surrounded by them in the shop all the time, so I'm constantly learning. So selfishly, I am going to want a class that I am going to take because I should probably be allowed to take my own classes
like
at a
a
place that I
master
start
level
up.
class.
Pretty much, yeah. So I've always now I know that you would probably not even want it in the house. I've always wanted to make a rocking chair. I feel like that's a porch thing.
That's a porch thing.
So I would want to make 2 rocking chairs for the front porch.
Yeah.
I'd like to make 1 rocking chair in a class that is an immersive week-long rocking chair class.
That's
and then
idea.
I would like to be able to try and make the second one on my own.
I love that.
So
I actually really love that because it seems like it's something very challenging to do.
And that's the thing. If you probably ask Mike, he'd be like, oh, that's not that bad.
Well,
but because he's done it.
Right. But any woodworker who's made a bunch of tables or benches or cutting boards, like that is level up.
It's level up. And that's the thing. So a class like that can go in so many different ways because the seat of the rocking chair could just be flat. And that's basic. Or you can make it with the butt grooves. And so how do you do that?
Or you do
can
the rocking chair that you could pass down from generations.
Or you can do that. Right.
That goes in a nursery or something.
Exactly. And then the class can be are the legs that actually rock, were they just laminated to be a big beam and then they were just cut out? Because then you see the grain doesn't look good, or do you steam bend them and make them curve?
Steam bend.
Which would be awesome for a class. I would love to do all of that. My first class, I would say my first immersive class would be a rocking horse, or a rocking horse.
A rocking horse?
That'd be a different class. That's a kid's class. But no, I would have a rocking chair course. That would be a fully immersive week-long course. That would be my first immersive course. The other courses, the first one that we offer, those are going to be the basics just to get people in the door. The cutting boards and coffee tables and basic stuff like that. Picture frames for like a kid's course or even an adult course. Just basic stuff like that would be the first one. The immersive one for a rocking chair, I would absolutely love to do. Cool. And I think that there'd be a lot of demand for a course like that, which I would be very, very excited to take myself. And honestly, what's funny is that it would also be kind of it'd be hard for me to sell courses if I didn't take them. Like, so tell me about this course. It's like, well, I've seen the plans. I've talked to them about it, but I didn't actually take it. Now I would actually be able to take it, which would be really good.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my first one.
I like it.
Yeah. And then you could take the rocking horse class.
You want me to make a rocking horse?
Or the rocking chair.
I would like to do like an actual, how do I use a power tool? Or
I've gotten that suggestion before.
How do I do it myself?
Do you?
My husband's really busy, so I would like to learn how to use basic power tools. And
we have gotten that. I've gotten that question a couple times. So yes, one of the questions, it's not really a question for this poll, but I've heard that as feedback before, was, I'm married and my husband's very busy, but I'm home and I would like to
stuff done.
I want to do some stuff. I want to hang some pictures. I want to fix some stuff.
Level.
And my chairs are wobbly and there are screws in there. I have a power tool. I literally have never used one. Like, what do I do? I think that would be that'd be a pretty cool basic course, is literally just how to do enough with your home, like basic set of tools.
But I also want to know how to use like a table saw properly.
You can use a table saw.
Circular.
Mm-hmm.
All the saws.
How many more can you name?
All saws.
All of the saws. Just all of them?
That's the name of the class. All saws.
All the saws. Nice. That could work.
Why not?
What other questions we got?
Okay. Do you want a serious question or a fun question?
I don't know. Surprise me, I guess.
The first one comes from Genevieve.
Yes.
How much wood would a wood Dan chuck if a wood Dan could chuck wood?
I do chuck some wood.
You chuck wood. Quite a bit.
It's actually a lie. I actually hoard wood. I don't chuck any wood. All the wood that I would chuck turns into like little stuff.
That's true. You are getting better at repurposing all the little cutoffs. And
you don't know that because they're not here anymore.
That's true. Out of sight, out of mind. All right. So
we're sitting in what was once our garage, which is now our office. And this garage, at one point, you could not walk in because I was selling lumber out of it and I was hoarding lumber in it. And it was
a lot.
It was absurd, the amount of lumber that I kept in here.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun though. Whatever.
I prefer this.
I like you having a shop outside of our house.
I kind of do. All right. So another one. This is from Carolyn.
Yes.
Who would your dream customer be? It's a famous person. And what do you hope you would get to make for said famous person?
Oh my gosh. So is this a question like a famous person that would commission me something?
Mm-hmm. Like if any famous person were to come up and be like, hey, make me, I want this for my house, or
Dave Grohl asking me to make a guitar.
Ooh.
I would absolutely love that. So I made a first attempt at a guitar on the CNC. Yes, I have the body of it. I made a Fender Strat that's in my shop.
That's cool.
Out of a piece of maple, actually the same maple burl that I just made this epoxy table out of. One of those slabs I made into a guitar body. It was tricky because it's a 2-sided carve on the CNC, so everything has to be lined up absolutely perfectly. So when you flip it over, you cut the other side out because it's 3D.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to carve it from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It was off by probably 1/8 of an inch, so there's just like a big ridge, and it just doesn't line up. I could figure it out, and I could finish it and make it a guitar. It just wouldn't look right, but whatever.
Imagine giving that to Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl, this
Here
is
you go,
my
bud.
this is my thing. I made.
tried my best. Hope you like it.
It's shitty, but don't look too closely. That would absolutely be my that would be a dream thing. Yeah, that'd be really, really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of ties into this next question from Christina. What is one project you'd love to do but don't quite have the room, skills, tools, know-how quite yet?
A boat.
A boat.
I would love to build a canoe. So Mike shop Mike.
You'd have to learn how to swim first.
No, that's what vests are for. I could swim, just not very well, and for not very long, I'd probably just drown.
It's great to watch, though, guys. Really.
It's
wonderful.
I am
very entertaining.
I am like a merman in the water.
He's impressive.
A merman if you cut off his fins and tied his arms behind his back.
For the amount of exertion and work that you're doing, you don't go anywhere or really float. I'm not quite sure how.
I don't know how to float for such a big body. You think I'd have a lot of air in there?
So much splashing and effort for like no result.
If my boat capsized, I would just give up and die.
So you'd have to make a really good boat.
A really good boat that doesn't capsize.
Doesn't sink.
And I would have extra vests, but I'd need a lifeboat for my little boat. So I would love to build. Shop Mike is super, super high on the opportunity of a boat class.
A boat class.
Which we talked about it a little bit last week in the podcast.
Okay.
And it would be very cool. That is definitely a space problem.
A lot of space.
It's a space problem, and it takes forever. Yeah. So the way that we thought about that course was that would be a very,
How about everybody working on the same boat, or like everybody making their own dinghies?
Like a group build,
group boat.
Like the group forge I went to.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to start with that, and then if it works out, then you do.
It could be cool if someone really just was interested in building a boat, but not actually having it when they're done, I guess. So the way that we thought about it last week
sailboat,
was
canoe.
No. So like a regular like kayak or a canoe. Okay. A canoe. They're relatively. They don't have to be huge either. They can be relatively small.
What's that movie with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds?
The Proposal.
And you knew it, which is great.
That's because she's naked.
That's a trap. Yeah, he makes a boat in Alaska.
Alaska.
Yeah, he lives in Alaska and he's making a boat.
That was in Boston. What?
Well, it was filmed in Boston or Gloucester, but...
Is that supposed to be in Alaska?
Yeah.
That doesn't look anything like Alaska.
You didn't listen to the plot?
She was naked. That's the only thing I know about that movie.
She had a washcloth.
Fine. It left enough
We're
to imagination.
sidetracked, so anyway.
Sorry. I saw Sandra Bullock and...
I was thinking of Ryan Reynolds, so...
I mean, I said Sandra Bullock. I really meant Ryan Reynolds.
Of course. He was naked, too.
He's fun. Mm-hmm. I wonder what I would make for him. As she spits out her espresso martini that she required as her fun drink.
No, that's my energized drink.
What's the fun drink?
Spindrift.
That's water.
Lemon Spindrift. It's fun. It's bubbly.
That's
it's effervescent.
Out of water and an espresso martini that I specifically went and got espresso for just to make you that drink. That's not the fun one?
No.
Lord, I'm putting in too much effort. All right. Next time you're getting jarred.
So boat
espresso.
Class.
Yeah. ADD kids. Yep.
Boat class.
So
you don't have the skills or the room or the tools to do that yet, but you would like to.
Here's the thing. It's hard to say that you don't have the skills for it. I just don't know how to do it.
You could learn.
The skill itself, I probably have it.
You do.
It would just I have to screw up a couple times first. This would be like a boat where I'd get halfway through and be like, oh look, I messed up all of the first pieces. I have to redo it. But
that kind of leads me to another question, and this one is from Peggy.
It's funny that all your questions are from women,
isn't it? So
how convenient.
This is actually a lot of questions, so I will ask a few of them, and you can decide.
Oh my god! Wait, a few of them.
Do you think woodworking could be a good mood indicator, like a mood ring, only more expensive? So you feel more like hammering, but not sanding, sawing, not staining, throwing a project in the dumpster, or is woodworking an ideal mood stabilizer? Get lost in the process and all is well.
Wow.
Yeah. Think
Okay,
about that.
that's a hell of a question.
Right? It's good. It's profound.
So I will say that there are times when I'm not going to lie, I'm in between projects and I don't have to do anything, and I go to the shop anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and I stand there, and I like think about stuff,
Or
I
you
clean some stuff,
make a guitar body.
I do that too. But no, the shop is my happy place.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I go to decompress. It's also where I go to be very, very stressed out when I'm under a deadline. But the majority of the time, I am very happy with that stress.
And
makes me happy.
Do you feel like a lot of people who would join the makerspace would share that sentiment?
So I am actively looking at a form that we have on our website, manco-makers.com. If you are local to Montgomery, Bucks County, anywhere outside the Philly area, and you are interested in this makerspace when we open, go to manco-makers.com and sign up. And I am mostly interested in what you are excited for. I'm looking at all the responses. So I put this up a couple weeks ago. I've marginally advertised it, but it's gotten a lot of traffic on its own. But it essentially is a form where it asks you your contact info and what are you interested in with a bunch of checkboxes. Out of the 57 responses that are here, 33 of them said the thing they're most excited about is access to the membership.
Mm-hmm.
So over half is they are just excited to have access to tools that work with dust collection in a clean shop, surrounded by other people that love doing the same thing and creating that community.
If you only had something like that when we were in the apartments, you would
have never seen
I wouldn't have seen you. We
but I would be very, very happy.
3 lovely children now, but
yeah.
No, but I feel like if you could, like, oh, I have a question.
Ooh, squirrel.
So the member is individual, right? The membership would be for
an individual
specific user.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be like a family membership, or would that ever be something that you would consider of like, I have this membership and it's unlimited, so my spouse also gets access, or like a guest type?
Probably not.
Like a guest pass.
Yeah. So, okay. So the guest pass thing is interesting. So I also got a question from Scott that said, what will the policy be for bringing in help for a day, like day passes? So that's in the similar vein.
Yeah, like define help, like to carry stuff or to.
Yeah, probably.
Because there would be help in the shop, most likely.
There'd be help in the shop. We'd always have instructors around to assist and everything. But if it's one of those things where why would I turn down the opportunity to have a non-member come in and see the shop and see it in action with a buddy who's already a member? That's kind of a natural. That guy is doing the selling for me by bringing his buddy in.
Mm-hmm.
So while that's really cool,
it would have to be like a very limited.
So I've heard from several other makerspace owners that they started out having day passes and then they quickly realized it's a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that, I'm not saying we're not going to have them, but the reason was if someone was only there for a day and they just had one project to do, naturally, for some reason, obviously it depends on the individual, but naturally, for some reason, people didn't care as much if they screwed up a machine. Because they're like, I'm out of here tomorrow. I just need to get this thing done. So people would just go in there and kind of abuse stuff, which is unfortunate. The thing is, if I were to offer day passes, if you were someone that didn't want to commit to a monthly membership and you wanted to just come here and there or have like an hourly pass, you'd still be required to take the full 4 to 6 hour safety informational course that is required to even come in.
I feel like having the option of a day pass or a guest day pass would be for your members of the higher tier, right? If you're doing tiers, I don't know. We don't have to talk about all that right now. But basically, it's like if you have this membership that's pretty much unlimited and you can go whenever you want, like I think that you should be able to. That's
mostly what the membership will be.
Then you should be able to have somebody to come and help you for an hour or two.
Yeah.
Who's like a family member or a friend that's going to help carry like the
I mean, if there's someone literally there just to be an extra set of hands to like hand you lumber and stuff, then
big heavy waiver.
Sign a waiver. Don't touch the tools.
Don't touch the tools.
That's fine.
Don't hurt.
I mean,
don't
that
put
I
your
wouldn't.
Hand off.
Honestly, that I wouldn't mind. And that's the thing. Like if someone has like someone has a teenager at home and they just picked them up from school and they wanted to come in and do some stuff while their kid was there, like I'm not going to tell them no. Like,
right.
Whatever. That's fine. You can come in.
Right.
But yeah, if it's a matter of using tools, that's different. And that's why we would have people around, because not even after a while, as soon as we open, we're going to know everyone who's supposed to be there. We're going to know their face. It's going to be a community. I'm going to know everyone by their first name.
I'm kind of excited for that.
That's going to be really exciting. It's going to.
And I'm antisocial, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're essentially what we've thought about this a while, and I think we've landed on. It's essentially going to be a barbershop feel.
Yeah.
Barbershop vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the other questions: is what is the intended vibe of this place? So
an inclusive barbershop.
An inclusive barbershop. There you go. And you don't need to be getting a haircut. If you get cut by anything, that's probably a negative thing. Dad joke.
Oh, ouch.
Sorry. You need more drink than you would think that's funnier.
No.
Whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, to go back to the question, it is my happy place. And I go there absolutely to decompress. And honestly, it's the kind of stress that when I'm stressed because I'm under the gun to get a project done, it's the stress that still makes me happy.
So, like, it's a mood indicator. So if you're in a really good mood and you go to the shop, do you feel like you're more productive? You get stuff done, you're happy with it? Or do you feel like sometimes you're in a really, like, stressed out mood, you go there, you get something done, and you're zen?
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah. It's those things.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever thrown anything out completely besides the teeny tiny table?
Oh yeah, well,
which is you didn't even throw that out.
Still
it's in our office. It's behind me.
It's what the kids can color on, and I don't care if they color all over it. Have I ever just thrown anything out that was meant for a commission?
Mm-hmm. Or just something that you were making and you were so frustrated with it that you decided to.
Definitely. I definitely have. No, I definitely have.
Now, what if you get a member who is that perfectionist that really is striving to make something according to the image in their head and it's not working out?
They get one-on-one instruction. They would definitely sign up to have one-on-one instruction with one of the people that really, really know what they're doing, who works here.
And I feel like any good shop environment like this, whoever is working there would be able to identify people that might benefit from a little bit of extra instruction, assistance, or like subtle guidance.
And that's the thing.
So that they don't get that frustrated.
And that's the thing. The one-on-one, while the membership is going to be a certain cost per month, and while the one-on-one instruction is definitely more money, and it's more cost to somebody to hire somebody, because you're literally their only focus. You have their complete undivided attention for the entire time you signed up. So you pay for that, but you don't need that all the time. You need maybe one session to get you right with whatever you're doing in your project. Mm-hmm. You can probably spend 2 hours with a private instruction and get over the hump that you're having with your project, get more guidance to what you're doing, a couple tips here and there, and you're probably off and running again. Mm-hmm. It's not like you need to have one-on-one instruction for 6 hours every Saturday and just start breaking the bank to have private instruction. You don't really need that. Right. You need a couple hours here and there probably to get you right.
And that's the other thing. It's some people might be too proud to ask for that kind of help, but that's not the environment that you're looking for.
No, it's not. And again, I've talked to other makerspace owners where they've had to make changes and then they ended up with a vibe of just, custom cabinet makers and people that just needed to get stuff done, and they weren't interested in the vibe and they weren't interested in the social aspect of it. And it kind of killed it for them. And they said it took a long time to get that vibe back. And that's a vibe that I don't ever want to lose. And that's the thing. For a while, I was teetering with the idea of having a contractor professional shop and then just a member shop, and having them separated so that the vibes were separated as well. Like the people that are literally just there to make stuff, don't talk to me, I need to get my stuff done. And then the people that are there to just, I'm here for this really awesome hobby and the community, and I'm making stuff because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not worth it in the end, because that's not the vibe that people are going to have anyway.
Right.
It's going to be one collective vibe. That's what we're going for.
Do you have another question? Because I have another question.
Well, I have one question that's pretty simple, which is, are you going to have lathes? Yes. There's going to be an entire room of lathes.
I feel like I would really like.
You would love turning.
And as soon as I got into it, I don't think that I would want to do anything else.
So that has been, from all the YouTube rabbit holes I've gone down with turning and everything, turning seems to be the thing that brings like older folks back to woodworking, because it is really satisfying. You're done with it in one session. It's like you can turn a bowl, sand it, put finish on it, and then leave with it in like 2 hours, which is really satisfying.
That or whittling.
It's
Maybe
done.
I'd get into it.
Whittling's fun.
On my rocking chair.
Maybe she's going to have her entire own shop, so maybe she doesn't have any time to do it.
I've got my
But if Anne of all trades wants to come over and do her spoon carving class and her knife making class out of wood, her butter knife
she's
class,
a little busy, but
she's
maybe
very busy. She's so busy. I have absolutely no delusions that she will come to Philadelphia just for that. But I'll ask until I'm blue in the face. So maybe it'll happen. She does do them. She does do them remotely. I took 2 of them during COVID, so maybe she'll do one remotely.
the dust from this microphone is getting.
Oh my gosh! It's
Sorry
not like
for this.
floating around like Pigpen.
Sorry for the sniffles.
Oh Lord.
Okay. All right. Another question. What is one piece from a fellow maker that you really wish you owned?
A piece from a fellow maker. So I assume that's from a fellow maker that made it, not like something he just happens to own. Like, ooh, I like that guy's car. Give me that car.
Yeah, nice Lambo. I want that. What maker owns a Lambo?
We don't make that much money. Piece of another maker that I wish I owned. That's a good question.
You can ruminate. Think on it.
Yeah. That one will have to simmer a little bit. So at Maker Camp, they did the maker swap when we were there. So everybody who wanted to partake,
I like that idea.
it was great. Everyone that wanted to participate made something, anything that they wanted to make, and they put it in, and then they just drew out of a hat, and they just randomly matched people, and everyone went home with something else that somebody else made. So I came home with a sign that was an epoxy sign of the Maker Camp logo that had backlights into the epoxy that we can hang on the wall, and it had a remote and you can turn the lights on. And it was a really, really cool project. I made a giant oversized mallet that was really, really big.
I remember that. Hammer of Thor.
Yeah, exactly. I called it the Tony mallet because Tony from Working Hands podcast
Thanks, Tony.
is an Olympic weightlifter and massive, and I figured why not name a giant oversized hammer after Tony. I made it kind of for Tony, but he didn't rig the system and take it home. He appropriately did the whole raffle. So I don't know who. I honestly don't know who went home with it. It never reached out, but
So you can't really.
I can't think of anything right now. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything right now. That's a good question though.
Mike from Horsham wants to know, how long is too long to rub your wood?
Wow.
Sorry.
I mean, that's really that's really dependent on person to person, really. And
But then there's and also.
oh no.
And also, is it better to use your left or right hand when sanding your wood?
I see what's happening here. I'm personally a righty in the shop, and I'm a lefty at home. I digress.
If you
My drink's gone. Uh-oh.
If you get enough splinters, do you turn into a superhero made of radioactive wood? I'm just reading these, guys.
We didn't
make these up.
We didn't look at these at all. No filter allowed. No radioactive. No, we're good there. Okay. Although I have splinters in my hands constantly.
Yes, you do. If you are, oh
my god,
squirrel.
Wow, off the cuff.
Ooh, something shiny.
Here we go.
All right, so having a little like retail area,
yes,
in the makerspace, would you sell very good splinter removing tweezers?
Yes, in fact, I would definitely do that.
Write it down.
I'm trying. Let's see. Can I find it? Oh, here they are. These are the ones that I own, and I wish I had more. If you okay, this guy's not going to sponsor us. However, if you go to grandpastweezers.com, I kid you not, they are steel tweezers.
They're amazing,
and they are the best thing I have ever bought for actually removing splinters. They come to an absolutely needle point at the end, super fine point, and they get everything out. I've tried your tweezers. I've tried your whatever.
I know.
Your eyebrow things.
I know.
Whatever the hell tweezers you have. Mm-hmm. They're horrible. They're so dull.
They're not.
But these are sharp enough, like a needle, where you could literally just pick apart at your thumb where that splinter is and create a little tunnel.
Grandpa's Tweezers?
grandpastweezers.com. Not sponsored, but they should be because they are amazing. They're the best $20 tweezers you will ever buy in your life.
So you could have.
I'm probably going to talk to Grandpa.
Right.
And I'm going to go get
tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm probably going to grab $100 worth of tweezers.
It's 10:15 at night right now. My bedtime reminder just went off.
Oh man.
But we still have questions to get to.
We do have questions.
All right.
We are very popular and have millions of listeners.
Everybody just loves that so much.
Sponsor us on Patreon. Go.
Please.
Patreon.com/MoncoMakers. Anyway, we're back.
Okay. What is either your least favorite request from customers or a consensus among woodworkers? What is their least favorite thing to do from a commission standpoint?
It's a good question. So
thanks,
my least favorite right now, my least favorite request is epoxy. I really don't like doing epoxy.
We've talked about this at length.
We have. It's really, really expensive. And it's a really expensive screw up if you screw it up.
And there's a lot of sticker shock too. I don't think people realize how
expensive epoxy is so expensive.
Yeah.
So just for transparency, there was $1,500 to $1,800 worth of just the material of epoxy in my last table. That was a 47-inch round table. That was not a large table.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that much, almost $2,000 worth of epoxy. And that's no labor, no wood, no finish, no delivery, no anything, nothing. You've $2,000 and you haven't scratched the surface
and
yet.
What does epoxy look like when you order it? Like,
it's in a just big gallon tub.
And it's like a powder?
No, it's liquid.
It's
for the deep pour stuff where you're pouring more than like an 1/8 inch, where you're pouring like 1 to 2 inches thick, up to 3 inches thick.
I'm thinking of the color that you added into the epoxy.
The pigment itself isn't even cheap.
And so that, like the glitter one, for example, like it came in a tiny little pot. From what I'm remembering,
that lasts a long time. You only need a little like teaspoon of that.
But that's still very expensive.
The black diamond stuff is expensive. Certain colors only come in a bigger tub, and you're not going to use the tub for a long time. But you still have to buy it for this project, so you have to offset the cost of that.
Would you do if you had a little store?
Yeah.
That has Grandpa's Tweezers.
Yep.
What other things would you sell?
That is a great question. So I've already spoken to vendors, and so I would become a Total Boat reseller. They make all the epoxy.
What's it called?
Total Boat. That's the name of the epoxy.
Okay.
So Total Boat, I would definitely sell their epoxy. You could. I would be partnering with H Valley Tools. I've already talked to Mitch over there.
Thanks,
we would
Mitch.
be selling some jigs. I would be selling some jigs from other makers. There are a few people out there that I met at Maker Camp, and then I followed up with them, and they do some amazing just jigs for the shop. And you wouldn't think that there's a huge market for it, but they have had them in stores and they sell out like hotcakes pretty much. So one in particular that comes into mind is Logan Newman. His stuff that he makes is it's if you want to follow him on Instagram, Newman's Special Woodwork. Newman Specials Woodwork. He makes these amazing jigs for clamping onto your workbench, to do router operations, to do hold downs, to do all these different things. I already talked to him. I would be ordering a whole bunch and a whole batch of his jigs just to resell and give him a commission from it. We'd be having all the finishes. You can sign up to become a vendor for general finishes. That's the finishes that are in all the coffee tables and
Explain
tables in our
finishes
house.
to people who might not know what.
Oil finishes, varnishes, shellacks, stuff like that.
Shellac.
You'd like shellac. You just like the word shellac.
I don't. It sounds like slack.
It sounds like slacks, and that's one of your words. That's one of your trigger
slacks.
words.
I don't.
Moist and slacks.
Stop
and
it. You stop it.
We can go on. I have all the lists memorized.
Let's not tell the public.
If you happen to see Melanie on the street, just
I don't want these
have a
things
moist
used
day
against
and
me.
see what she does with that.
Gosh.
But no, we would honestly be selling everything that you need to finish your project, so you don't have to leave or get it on Amazon. We'd have all your sandpaper that you need, all your finishes, all your wax for your cutting boards.
Would you sell lumber?
Anything. What was that?
Would you sell?
And we
lumber?
would have a full lumberyard on site.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I already have connections with other lumber yards and suppliers out in Western Pennsylvania that would be the supplier of lumber. But that, in the beginning, it would just be on demand.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be smart to go spend, $60,000 and stock up a full lumber yard that you don't know what's selling. This would be asking the members what they need. Okay, I can get that, by next week and order it for them.
So the average person who knows nothing about woodworking.
Yep.
Think about this. You go to Home Depot. It's a nice weekend. I'm going to make a garden planter box.
Mm-hmm.
The average person would get a little bit of sticker shock with Home Depot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's not even close.
So what you're talking about here and the projects that you would be making in these classes and the types of wood. And another question that came in is, do you prefer to work with softwood or hardwood?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Different kinds of woods and prices.
I almost never use softwood.
That would be
Pine.
use that for like turning, like
No, not really.
Like, what would you use softwood for?
So there's nothing wrong with pine. Pine has a look to it. It's very popular in DIY because it's very affordable. You can get it at Home Depot, and that's fine. Trying to get pine outside of Home Depot, you have to actually find a lumberyard that carries it, because not many do. Mm-hmm. It's a pain in the ass to mill. It's a pain in the ass to dry. If it's not dried properly, like the Home Depot pine that you get, you will put it through a planer and sometimes sap will come out because it is literally just not dry yet.
And there are some clients that'll bring that pine to the shop.
So here's the thing. So there are policies of other makerspaces where if you are in this shop and you are a member of this shop and you're building stuff here, then you have to use wood bought here. And they're sticklers for that. I don't really like that because I feel like that's a barrier to an entry and that's a cost that people are not expecting because they don't realize how expensive lumber is. So it's a matter of, if you bring in your wood from the outside of the shop, then we would have to at least check it.
Right.
So people like doing like, hey, I'm going to get started using pallet wood and using this kind of stuff. People love that. And there's, again, nothing wrong with that. But if it's pallet wood with certain chemicals and it has staples in it and it has nails in it and you just run it through our planer and screw up our planer, you've screwed up our planer for everybody. Mm-hmm. So we'd have to check stuff that comes in.
Inspect it.
It has to be dry, at least. It has to be free of metal and debris and dirt and bugs and all that kind of stuff. And I have encountered all of that in my own supply of wood before.
Didn't you find wasn't there a tree that had like a bullet in it or something?
So many. The walnut that we milled, that giant walnut that we went and got the U-Haul for.
Target practice, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's why most commercial mills will never mill lumber that came from someone's residential yard. They're like, it has metal in it. Like, but what are you talking about? I have 12 acres. It's in the middle of the woods. They're like, yeah, you have 12 acres over the last 100 years, and so many people shot guns in the middle of the in their yard. There's definitely metal in everything, always.
So softwood. No
That's why I don't pay for logs when tree companies take down logs. They're like, hey, I have this really nice walnut here. I'm like, that's worthless to me because I'm going to pay you and then find out it's filled with metal and it's useless.
Did you ever used to pay?
I've never paid for logs. I've bought 2 logs in my life. They were worth it, but I also had to drive 2 hours round trip to get them.
I remember that.
One of them, very nice. They're both walnut logs, very nice logs. They turned into really, really nice lumber, but I would not. It's not worth it. That's the thing. People have told other people in their lives that, hey, wow, you're getting that walnut tree cut down. That's worth thousands of dollars. And people list them on Facebook for like $5,000. I'm like, bro,
no,
you're literally asking someone $5,000 to come do all the work and remove a log from your yard. That's
tree removal is not easy, friends.
No. And if you're comfortable letting some schmuck online come onto your property and dig your entire yard up because they don't know how to move a log, that is not a wise choice. I know because I was that schmuck for a long time and I dug up many a yard.
Sorry.
And then left promptly. I got better at it after a while, but in the beginning, whew.
Yeah. So hire a tree company.
Hire a tree company and let them do it.
The professionals.
Yeah. If you're in Montgomery County or Bucks County, hire Gene McCreesh. McCreesh Tree Company.
He's great.
He's a great dude. Not sponsored. What's up, Gene?
Should be.
He's getting me a walnut log, so whatever.
Both free?
Yeah. Well, he asked me how much it's worth. He asked me 2 days ago. He's like, so how much is this walnut log worth? I'm like, nothing.
Nothing.
It's worth nothing.
Nothing.
And he gave me the dimensions. He's like, it's a 22-inch wide log. I'm like, absolutely nothing.
No.
That I will get 3 slabs out of it. I was like, no. He's like, all right, so I'd hate to put this through the chipper. I'm like, then just give it to me. He goes, all right, come pick it up. I'm like, fine. I'll mill it. If it's free, I'll mill it. Sure.
So do you think that a lot of the people that would join this makerspace would have access to felled trees?
Yes.
And would be interested in...
I get so many cold calls from people that have trees fallen.
Yeah.
And look at you. You said felled. Look at you.
I know my stuff.
Yo, terminology.
Hey.
That's how you know you're married to a woodworker.
I learned.
Is that when that tree was felled, because it is not proper English, but it's the proper terminology. So that's the thing. These are the types of things that would be free happy hour get-togethers that we would have once a month. We'd have topics and we would just talk, drink and talk. What is our dog doing?
Our dog is doing something.
He's like breathing so heavy back
I'll be right back. He's like rubbing his...
What the hell? So our dog is named Bear.
No, he's doing the goofy thing.
Oh, okay. He probably has... He doesn't have something wrong with his ears, but he scratches them a lot.
He's got allergies. Just like Mama.
He has allergies. The Bear Zyrtec. No, those would be like happy hour gatherings where we'd have happy hours once a month.
Oh, yeah.
Come in for free. Just come in, grab a drink, and watch demos. Or we'll talk to you about lumber. We'll talk to you about what hardwood and softwood is. We'll talk to you about, in this shop, here's the types of stuff that we use for the various classes, and we'll do some demos. Those actually got quite popular at local makerspaces.
Yeah.
It was whatever. It was just especially if there's a member and they have a friend who isn't just going to go with you one day, they would just want to come in and then they just want to see the shop. They just come in and visit and talk about stuff.
When you go to the local diner and the Rotary Club is there and they have a speaker, it would be like that, but
much cooler.
A cooler version.
Way
Sorry, Rotary
cooler.
Club, you're cool too.
They're cool. They're pretty old, but they're cool. I spoke at one recently. It was fun. Whatever.
It was so cool.
It was very cool. Everyone
cool.
was very interested. A lot of woodworkers there. Not surprising. That's why I spoke to them.
Not a keynote speaker, but pretty much just like a guest.
It's literally just a happy hour.
Yeah.
A happy hour, you're there, you drink and you see the shop.
You should build a bar, like not necessarily
like
for
like a
alcohol bar,
firehouse. You always have a bar on site.
yeah, like I don't know, like you could have a nice slab and whatever, like a.
So I mean, that will be part of the reception area. Reception area will be a very cool place when you walk in.
It's important to have a good vibe.
It'll have some good coffee. We'll have a beer fridge.
My gosh, it sounds like
It's gonna be awesome.
like, sign me up.
So,
Coffee? Okay.
You're married to the owner. You're gonna have to sign up.
I will be there.
I'm definitely taking your money.
Well,
You are the worst client, so you have to be a really good member.
wait, why am I the worst client? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Because I make no money off of anything I make you. We're sitting at a desk right now that's 12 feet long. I didn't see a dime.
What about like child care? That's expensive.
Now we're bartering. We're bartering woodworking for childcare of my own
yes,
children.
hello. Say hi.
Okay. Say hi, Bear. Everyone, this is Bear. You can't see him because
He's
we don't do
breathing
video.
so heavily.
He is very stinky and he needs a grooming.
But if you know him, he's the best.
He is pretty awesome. Hi, Bear. Do you want to be a shop dog one day? All right. We don't know. But anyway, do we have any more questions? That was pretty long.
I think.
Let's see. Let me see if I got any more. We might have more, maybe. Let's see.
Oh wait, no, there is one more. Why is your wife cooler than you?
That's not a question.
That's from Christina.
That's not a question.
It's a question.
You know what? She used to, when we first started dating, she was the one that would wear winter hats when it wasn't cold. She'd listen to music of bands I've never heard of. She was just naturally cooler. I can't really compete with that. So
that's true.
So the only other questions that we got here are really just kind of basic questions, which, what hours will you keep and where's it located? So it will be located in either Montgomery County or Bucks County. I'd like it to be in Montgomery County because it's called Monco Makers. But regardless of the fact, it doesn't really matter. How many roads in these towns are the names for towns that are not in that
town?
But yeah, you got it. You got Horsham Road. It's in Hatboro. It's like whatever. So definitely in the outer Philadelphia area, Monco, Bucksco, somewhere like that. It will definitely be local to me because I don't really want to commute. So that's that's what I want.
Well, we want it to be accessible to
it needs to be accessible.
Major highways.
Absolutely. And then what hours do you keep? So I in my head, it would open at 9, typical. And you'd be open till around 9 or 10 every night.
Would you have Mondays off?
There would definitely be a day off, probably Monday. So typical of certain restaurants and
hair
salons and nail salons, stuff like that, where you're working through the entire weekend. You need at least a day where you're not open for various reasons. There are
like limited
tax reasons. There are other reasons, but like honestly, we would not be open, but we would have people in the makerspace. That would be a lot of maintenance day. There'd be a lot of things happening Monday where we're building stuff out, stuff that we would be doing in the shop that would be disruptive to members. We would do that during the day. If we have to run more dust collection, piping and ducting for a new tool or something, we're not going to be in people's way while they're trying to do stuff. That would be something we do on a Monday.
Yeah. I'm envisioning like more limited hours on certain days of the week, like opening later.
Yeah. I mean, the typical Sunday, we would be open later, close early. Like Sundays probably open at 10, only be open till
Nothing
like 4.
Nothing is set in stone because
Nothing's
we don't have a location.
We don't have a location yet. So, I mean, that comes after we have, the finances all locked up. So the thing is, I am going to run this based on what members want. So if I find out that there are so many members that would love to be there on Sunday till 9 p.m., we'll find people to work on Sunday till 9 p.m. if that's what it takes. If that's the only day that you can get in the shop because you work nights and then you have weekends off, and Saturdays you got your 3 kids, you want to spend time with them, and Sunday afternoon is the only day that you can get there. And there are a bunch of you like that. Okay, fine. We'll be flexible with our hours. And that's one of those things where it will pivot based on demand.
Committee, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be based on command. That's the same way that we are going to test out new classes that may be outside of woodworking. I mean, it is It's called a makerspace because it's not just going to be woodworking in the long term. We'll have metalworking and knife working and blacksmithing and that kind of thing. Needlepoint, leather, all that kind of stuff. But that's going to be based on the people that are there and what they want. If everyone there, if we get 20 people that are like, you know what, it would be awesome to take a knife class.
So get in on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Really.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. I mean, when we get our building and we're up and running, you will see some crazy specials to get in the door. If you are some of the founding members, founding members are going to have a whole lot of benefits.
I think that we also kind of need a call to arms with local festivals. And I was at a Skipback Winetoberfest over the weekend, and there's a lot of local vendors there. And if I had Monco Makers business cards or t-shirts or whatever, or just like a clipboard just to assess interest. Oh yeah. It would be great. So anybody who is really gung-ho about this idea, who would like to help kind of be a ambassador for the makerspace, like let us know. Reach out.
There's definitely going to be Dan. There's going to be a lot of benefits for founding members. There's going to be a lot of benefits for those who are patrons, who support the show, who support the makerspace, because every dollar that is made from our Patreons goes to the makerspace to buy tools, to buy equipment, all that kind of stuff, and every little bit helps. So if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/MoncoMakers. And honestly, the best way to support the show is really just to share it with your friends. If anyone that you know is interested in this kind of stuff, share the podcast with them. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all the things.
Let us know what kind of topics you want to hear about.
Yes, please do.
Danny's ideas.
Yeah. I'm happy with everyone that submitted questions today. That was really awesome.
Thank you.
And then go to monco-makers.com and tell us what you're excited for. And I guess that's it.
It's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We will see you next week.
Bye.
See ya.